Well, hello, it's me again, the Christian realist. I promised you that I would be back this week with whose fault is it that the world is in chaos and babies are dying and God's not doing anything? Well, if you will, I asked you last time to study in the book of Genesis. We're going to turn to chapter 1, verses 26 through 28. I'll give you a moment to get there. Now, in in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verses 26 through 28, it clearly states, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth on the earth." 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created them. Created he them. Excuse me. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. Now we're going to stop right there. Subdue the earth. Let's look and see what that means. In verse 28, he said that we should be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth. Two words here are of major importance to understand. The first word, dominion, and the second word, subdue. Let's do the latter word first. Subdue in the Bible is a Hebrew word called kabash or karbash, which means to bring a man or a people into submission so that they will yield service, as in the book of Numbers, and we're not going there, but Numbers chapter 32, verses 22 through 29. Now for the word dominion. It is a Hebrew word, radah, a royal word meaning the rule of a king over land and people. Now God, unlike Satan, when he gives free will, he steps back and you have the option to do as you choose, as we choose. Satan doesn't give a choice. And I love to give the example of myself when I was on drugs. I can remember this one time when I was on crack, and I wanted to get some of the good dope. So I ran into a drug dealer that had the good dope, if you will, and he told me I was like $5 short on a $20 piece of dope. So he told me I had to go get the other $5. Well, right across the street was a club, and I ran into the club, and I did, over a matter of moments, I came up with the extra $5. And as I stepped back out of the club and went to go to the drug dealer to get my dope, he was getting in the car and pulling off. Well, this put me into a panic because, of course, I'm going to spend $20 whole. I want the best dope. So, in a panic, I took off across the street running. Well, I didn't see the van that was coming. I ran into the side of the van, bounced off the side of the van, hit the street, rolled over, jumped up, and ran back to the dope man before he cranked that car up and got my piece of dope. You see, that shows how Satan doesn't give you a choice. I had no choice about the crack. I had no choice about my alcohol addictions. I have no choice about my cigarette smoking addiction. I tried for 3 years before I had formed a relationship with God to quit smoking. But God gives us a choice. Today, I have a choice. If I choose to do crack, or if I choose to smoke pot, or if I choose to drink a beer, or even smoke a cigarette, I can choose. That's what I love about God. Well, God being God bound his own hands when he gave man, you and I, dominion over and told us to subdue the world. Now, because of who he is, he had to step back and let us handle things, because he did say, give them dominion and let them subdue. the world. He wanted us to handle things by his standards, though, not by ours, by godly, righteous standards. And those things have been placed in us from the beginning of Adam and Eve. But because Adam and Eve sinned, those things had also been contrasted to the wickedness of mankind, the destruction of Cain by Abel, etc. And again, because we have free will, even though God wanted us to handle things by his standard, we handle things by the way we wanted to handle them. What did mankind do because they had free will? Let's turn to the book of Judges chapter 21 and verses 25 for that answer. Judges chapter 21 and verse 25. Okay, Judges chapter 21 and verse 25 says, in those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. Wow. Check that out. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. Just stop and think about that for a second. What do you think that means? What do you think is going on today? What about all of your cult movements that are going on today? Do you think they're doing what's right in their own eyes? Exactly. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. My favorite saying, you will hear it a lot in this series. You will hear it a lot in this series, is but God. The reason I say that is in every situation. I just went 3 months without a job. Things went to looking mighty scary. But God. Now watch this. But God gave man a way out, a kind of easy button, if you will, or maybe a better phrase is a panic button. Yeah, that's right. Turn to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 17. 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 17. And here is our panic button. It says, and as for you, if you will walk before me as David your father walked, doing according that was 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. And it says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. Excuse me. Let me read that one more time. If my people, and this is God speaking, who are called by my name, humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and heal their land. Wow, that is awesome. Stop for a moment and let that marinate. Just meditate on that for a moment and see all the richness that's in this one verse. That's right. God in his infinite wisdom knew that we would screw it up. So he gave us a way to back out gracefully. But now you tell me, I see it all the time in some of my best friends. Which one of us is willing to humble ourselves? Which one of us wants to really stop what we call fun? It's a good thought, isn't it? Now let's think a moment. In the beginning, God gave man dominion over each other and the world. This caused God to have to step back because being God, he had no choice after he gave man charge of everything. Man did and is still doing what is right in his own eyes, and this screwed the world up. But God, and there it goes again, but God in his infinite wisdom gave man a way out when he felt that he couldn't handle it. But even today, man chooses not to humble himself or to stop those things he thinks is fun. Tell you what, you put it all together and tell me who is at fault for all the insanity in the world. God? I don't think so. So now that you can't blame it on God, what do you do next?